Hey folks, it's Ardwulf. Welcome. We're going to do a late to the party unboxing here today. The game is Peloponnesian War from GMT Games and designer Mark Herman. This is a 2019 release, but of course it is a new version of the 80s classic from Victory Games. So let's, we're in one of those weird, it looks like about 2.5-inch boxes. This is thicker than a 2-inch box, but not quite as thick as a 3-inch box. In here we've got a very attractive map, designed by Mark Herman, developer by the late Chad Jensen. I hadn't known that. Art director, of course, Roger McGowan. Map art by Mark Mahaffey. Counter art by Kurt Miller and Mark Simonich. Cover art by Eric Williams. And it is, of course, package designed by Roger McGowan. It's a pretty handsome cover, too, I think. So let's open her up and see what we get here. This is the now becoming standard GMT very thick box where the cardboard stock is real thick. And I happen to know that there's a mounted map in here as well. So let's open her up. All right, so the first thing we have is the Peloponnesian War Rulebook. This is full color, matte finish. Very, very slightly satiny, but matte finish paper, which I prefer, as I've mentioned a bazillion times. We need some chit cups. This is, of course, a solitaire game, and it's a really interesting mechanism for solitaire games by which, if you start doing too well against the AI, the game switches sides on you, and you are now playing the side that you were beating previously. That's such an interesting mechanism that I'm somewhat surprised that it hasn't been used more frequently. Another thing that we do have in this game, and I don't know if it's in this book, is there's actually a 2-player mode. I believe that is new to this edition of the game, and I believe there's another scenario as well. So rulebook-wise, we have a gazetteer. That's useful to tell you where all these names are at. 24-page rulebook. Set that up there. We also have a playbook, which feels heftier. 48-page playbook. And presumably we have a, nice table of contents. Nice. Okay. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 scenarios. The Decelean War, the fall of Athens, the First Peloponnesian War, and the fall of Sparta. And then there's 2-player rules as well. And looking through this thing, I see some very appealing content in this book. Event tables for the First Peloponnesian War scenario. There's another one here for one of the later scenarios as well, I believe. Looks like this fall of Sparta scenario is quite beefy, actually. This is a 2-player scenario. And then we have here our 2-player rules. Here's our event table for the fall of Sparta scenario. And then we have an illustrated example of play. I have also mentioned repeatedly in the past that I consider this to be a non-optimal edition in modern war games. And it is all too frequently left out. I'm happy to report in this case that there is a very beefy 16, 24, 9-page example of play. It looks really good. Here's some player's notes. Peloponnesian War, a look at strategy. There's also a big section on, always nice to see maps in the historical commentary. I think we're in the game as history section. Yes, we are. It's also really nice to see this kind of content in this kind of thing. So it looks like we really have a really nice package here. Now, this is not something I've played before, just FYI. But it's got such an enduring reputation, even before it was reprinted, that I did know something about it. Oh, here's some actual numbers with some naval battles. That's nice. Here's our game as history. This actually tells us all the stuff that goes on. Here's some actual designer's notes, and some second edition stuff. Those will be very interesting to read. Always appreciate good designer's notes. Good designer's notes, honestly, sometimes can make or break a game. Okay, so we have Okay, we have 2 player aids here. There's a player aid summary, which got a sequence of play on it, and some miscellaneous reminders. We have this player aid summary. We have an event table. This is presumably for those scenarios that don't get their own event table. Okay, so 2 player aids. It is a solitaire game, right? Even though it's got a 2-player mode now. So we just have 1 copy of each of those. Now there's this pad, a victory point record sheet. And on the back we have the same thing. Didn't know there'd be a pad in here. Okay. We have counters. Now, Mark Herman has said he doesn't like to clip counters, and I can appreciate that, but I also like clipped counters. So the best solution, then, is counters that come already rounded. These look like they will punch. I'd be surprised if these didn't punch out of the sprue quite cleanly. And we have, I'm guessing 100 per sheet. Okay, more rounded counters. Oh, here's some more stuff. Here's some, ooh, okay. So here is, these are 2, what look like displays, actually. Spartan Strategy Matrix and Athenian Strategy Matrix. So is this the bot? That's kind of what it looks like. That is exactly what this looks like. So these are on, like, map board types, or at least super thick counter sheet type stock. And it looks like you run the bots off of these displays. The bellicosity track. That is a cool mechanic. The name of that mechanic is cool. I approve. Okay, so what else we have here is 2 6-sided dice in Christmas colors. We have a bag of baggies, which I'm sure I can find a use for. We have one of these tray inserts, which, cool. Could have put a counter tray in here instead. I'll keep harping about that. GMT does sometimes nowadays put counter trays in games instead of these inserts. And we have this nice mounted map board. So let's extract it from the bag without, hopefully without destroying either the board or the bag. That'd be cool. I've done both in the past. So let's pull this stuff off so that we can have a look at the very nice looking map. Mounted map, of course, as I've come to expect from recent Mark Herman games from GMT. And it's very heavy. One issue that I tend to have with mounted maps in general, but not for board games, right? This only seems to happen with mounted wargame maps, is they pooch an awful lot, and you have to kind of work with them to get them to lay flat. And I have personally snapped them before, so let's hope that doesn't happen with this thing. It is a very attractive map. Don't see a key. Oh, we do have a key. So we have coastal spaces, land spaces, island spaces. Coastal spaces are the triangles, land spaces are the squares, and island spaces are the circles. Okay, so that's pretty interesting. This looks like a relatively straightforward point-to-point map. There are certain types of special connections between some spaces. And this goes, try and get it all in frame here. So we've got the Peloponnese here, the rest of Greece. We get some spaces here in Asia Minor. And there's a little inset map, which I'm going to have a hard time fitting in the frame, so I'll do it this way. We have a little inset map for the Greek colonies in Sicily and southern Italy as well. Another addition to what is turning into a pretty strong library of solitaire titles for me, Mark Herman's Peloponnesian War. I've been intending to get this for a long time, and it just has never materialized. And I was at the game store today picking up counter trays, and I said, yeah, sure, why not? I may as well reward them for restocking war games. The local store here that I just went to has GMT and a couple of things from Compass. More than a couple, actually. Probably 5 or 6 things from Compass. And I think that's about it, other than like Axis and Allies and other stuff like that. So Peloponnesian War. Hopefully you've enjoyed the brief look at the components. Thanks for watching. Please give the video a thumbs up if you have enjoyed it. Please subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to click the little bell icon to get notified when new content comes out. If you'd like to support Ardwulf's Lair, that would be awesome if you could share the content around on social media. If not, you can click on the Patreon link in the video description. Thanks again for watching. Until next time, happy wargaming.